A miracle man, Lerone Murphy, who is back in action at the end of this month against Makwan Amirkhani. Lerone, always good to catch up with you, my friend. How are things with you?
Oh, good, man. Just getting ready for this big fight. It's always a big fight with me. I'm always getting these big matchups, but, man, I can't wait to get in there, man.
Is this, in your opinion, the biggest or certainly the most exciting fight of your UFC career for you?
Possibly. It's up there. It's definitely up there. It's a big fight, isn't it? Big opportunity once again on a sick card.
I did want to talk about that. You're obviously on what could be argued one of the biggest cards of the year. Do you like being on a big card, or would you like being on a smaller card where you get more attention and perhaps more chance of a bonus at the end?
Obviously, it's got its pros and cons in it. If you're on a smaller card, you've got way higher chance of getting a bonus and standing out. But at the same time, look how many people are going to be tuning into that card. We've got big fighters on there, up top to bottom, big fights. So both got the pros and cons, but I'm happy to be on this card, man. It's a big card.
I want to talk about how this fight came about, because obviously you're stepping in on, I wouldn't say short notice, but let's say mid-range notice, about 4 or 5 weeks out, as I understand, as a replacement for Tristan Connolly. So talk to me about the process of stepping in as a replacement. Did the UFC come to you, or did you put your name forward for this fight?
So, as you know, I was supposed to fight Jourdain in September 4th. That got cancelled. And then it just, I ended up getting my visa, and I'm like asking the UFC, so when can you get me out? And it's just like, all the cards are full. We're not going to be able to book you till February. And it's like, that's another 6 months or so. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's just like, I need to fight soon. And then to come through with this fight, do you want to take this fight on short notice? I think it's like 4.5 weeks or something like that, 4 weeks, whatever. And it's just like, it's either fight then or fight in February, which one do you want to do? And I was like, do we fight now? Of course we fight now, but it's just like, it's just one of them fights. Like, if we wait till February, we might have got a bigger matchup in terms of rankings. But who's asked about rankings at the minute? We just want to get in there and get the experience. So it's a good fight, man.
Obviously, you were meant to fight Jourdain, as you mentioned. You've now got Amirkhani, who I would say is more of a veteran, has a bigger name and a bigger following. So in terms of the chance of growth, if you like, the chance of growing your name, is this a better fight for you?
He's a wrestler, in it, so obviously a striker is going to be a better matchup for me, as they say. Striker versus striker. This is more of a tricky assignment, because he's a wrestler with offensive grappling. Like, he goes for submission, he's got a submission offense, so it's more of an assignment. But for me, that's what's getting me motivated for this fight, because I know how big of a fight it is. It's a tough challenge. I know it's a tough challenge, and it's more of like a progress check for me. See where I'm at. Am I ready for the top 15? Am I not ready for the top 15? We'll find out on the day. So that's all. I'm not. There's no pressure on me in this fight. I'm literally going to see where I'm at in terms of that the level.
Because we talked about that last time. I remember asking you, as a striker, as you consider yourself a striker, do you like fighting another striker, or do you like the to and fro of striker versus grappler? It's obvious what this fight is. This is a striker versus grappler, and we could argue, if someone said before the fight, this fight is going to take place primarily on the ground, we know who has the advantage. And conversely, if this fight is going to take place primarily on the feet, we know who has the advantage. So before even going into the fight, do you have a rough idea of what you need to do, if you like?
It's pretty obvious. You just said it. It's just keep the fight standing and pick him apart. It's as simple as that. Obviously, when you fight a striker, you get to show your full skill set. It's a clean fight and you can look good. But when you're fighting a wrestler who's just going to try and hold your legs, then it's going to be a messy fight, and you're probably not going to look as good until he tires out, and then you start picking him apart.
Another return back to Abu Dhabi, Lerone, what's that going to be like? Because we've talked about that, all the different experiences you've had, the draw at UFC 242, the last win over Douglas Andrade. Talk to me about going back to Abu Dhabi, and it's becoming a home away from home for you now, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. It's basically home for me. Like that's all I know. Abu Dhabi, so I know what to expect. I know the processes. Like that's just I've not fought away from Abu Dhabi for the UFC, so I'm just used to that, man. I can't wait to get back home.
It's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Because the UFC have set up their bases, if you like. They've got the big pay-per-views across America. They've got the Vegas cards and they've got the Abu Dhabi cards. And yet, if you actually look, I remember speaking to Darren Stewart about this. Darren Stewart's fights, all his fights throughout the pandemic, were at the Apex in Las Vegas, and he was saying he wanted to get on the Abu Dhabi cards, the nicer flight, all of that. But you seem to be someone who the UFC have gone. Obviously, this is short notice, so it's not like for like. But you have seemed to be someone the UFC have gone. Lerone's fighting at Abu Dhabi, and that's
you know what though? Yeah, but. That was partly because of the visa, but now
of course, visa,
yeah, you'll see me on more American shows and whatnot, because when you've not got a visa, especially with this pandemic going on, it's a struggle for them the UFC to get fighters over there. You've seen so many pullouts because of these visa issues, but now I've got it. I want to make my US debut at some point, probably early next year.
Talk to me about that, about how difficult it was having to pull out of a fight, not because of an injury, not because of a suspension, anything like that, because logistics never went your way, if you like.
Oh, it's horrible, man. It's like, I've done 15-week camp. I was supposed to fight in London, which was 14th of August. So I've done a camp for that. It got pushed back to the 4th of September. So that's an extra 3 weeks done. Obviously, put that work in, and then 2 weeks before the fight, to say my visa's not going to come in time. But it's mad though, because other people on the card was having the same issues, and they ended up getting the visa. And it was just like, what? It's like it's mad. And you spend so much time, money, effort on your camp, and then you can't fight because of a visa.
Are you compensated for that in any way by the UFC, or is it just a tough luck situation?
Tough luck, isn't it? Tough luck. It's a dark game, man. It's a dark game. It's just a tough luck, but it's what it is, isn't it?
I spoke to Nathaniel Wood about this. Obviously, he had the broken hand, and he was meant to be on the same card, and his fight fell through. And I want to ask you the same question I asked Nathaniel, which was the fact that that fight was meant to take place in front of a sold-out British crowd in the O2, and then got moved to Vegas. Did that take any of the disappointment away, because you weren't disappointing, your home fans, the people who've be coming to watch you?
Definitely, but at the same time, I just wanted to fight. I've done the work. I just wanted to fight. That was the most important thing to me. Fighting in front of the home fans is just like a cherry on top almost. I've not done it before and I've not witnessed it, so maybe when I do witness it, that's all I want to do. But my main focus was just to fight, really.
Who impressed you on the UFC London card? Because you only have to look at the names and you see it was a fight that was meant to be in card that was meant to be in London. But who impressed you out of all the British talent?
I'd say Molly McCann. She had her back against the wall. She come out and she fought hard for 3 rounds. She gave it her all. She left her heart and soul in there, and that girl she fought was good as well. And she just shut her down. She just ran the fight, and she set the bar high for how she needs to perform in the next fights. Now she looked good, man. She impressed me the most, I'd say.
Yeah, I want to talk about something with you, Lerone. I want to talk about what I would call the Manchester Trident. And that feels like the three big guys in MMA who are fighting out in Manchester right now. Obviously yourself. Do you have any idea who the other two are about, who I'd say?
Out of Manchester?
Out of Manchester. Not out of Manchester, but Manchester fighters.
Who are you going to say?
I would have said Brendan Loughnane. Yeah. And I would have said Mohamed Mokaev.
Okay. There's plenty more.
There's plenty more. Yeah. I'm just talking about them three are probably the big three. In my opinion, there's more. Yeah. There's all killers in your gym, of course. But what are we saying about the talent coming out of your city? Talk to me about some of the guys that you're training with and some of the people that you're working with on a daily basis.
The talent's flying, especially if you was to come to our gym, you would see the level, even right from amateur right through. We've got like a mat full of killers at the moment, and I can't wait to watch them all come through, because they will all reach the top level, because they're absolutely flying at the minute. The talent's crazy right now. Even people that are coming in from other gyms that are close by and stuff, they're coming in for rounds and stuff, and I feel like the level all over the UK is just getting better and better.
Have you been moving around any other gyms, getting any other looks, or has it just been your gym for this camp?
Just been in my gym for this camp. I feel like I've got some good bodies for Makwan style, so I've not really had to travel much. This camp, we've got a few southpaws, got a lot of Dagestani wrestlers, so where else do I need to go?
Listen, if you've got Dagestani wrestlers in your camp, then that's all you need when you're fighting a wrestler. That's the A grade these days, isn't it?
Exactly, mate. It's just no, you can't get no better than Dagestani wrestling. You can't get no better than it.
Can I ask you a question? Do you have any reason, any inkling as to why it's Dagestan? Is it something in the water down there? Is it something the way they trained? Is it a mindset thing? Why are they the guys for wrestling at this point?
It's just a mentality, you know. I think it's just the way. Obviously, the Americans as well can wrestle, and they've been brought up wrestling from kids too. But I feel like it's just a Dagestani mindset of just never quitting. They just shoot.
Yeah.
And they're just, man. It's just something else to their wrestling. I think it's the tenacity to bring in the non-stop shots, which is difficult.
Do you think long term, having the fight against Zubair, do you think that will help you, because that he's a high level wrestler, and as we mentioned, probably everyone fighting Lerone Murphy is at some point going to try and get a takedown on you with your superb striking. So do you think having that test early on in your career and coming through it with the draw, do you think that is going to serve you in the long term?
That was perfect. That was like a gauge, and it gave me stuff to go back and work on. And also, I just know that I was fighting against a top Dagestani wrestler, and I was able to get up multiple times. And that's always in the back of my mind, especially going into this fight now. I know that he's not going to be as strong or as good wrestler as Zubair, but he's got a better submission offense. But I just feel like I can get up against anybody.
When you take a fight on a 4 or 5 weeks notice, obviously you were saying then about a 12 to 14 week camp where you cross every dot and you cross every T and you dot every I. But how do you structure a camp on a couple of weeks notice? What is the preparation been like?
I feel like you just stick to you, and obviously you go over your certain things you need to go over in terms of the opponent you're facing, a few little bits, and then you just get in there and fighting it. There's not much more you can do than that. Obviously, we would have loved a 12-week camp for Makwan. That would have been perfect, but we're working with what we've got, and we're feeling good and fit and ready.
Makwan, as I said, has been a mainstay of this UFC featherweight division. He's almost I wouldn't say a legend, but he's certainly a veteran, if you like. But he's coming off the back of 2 losses to Edson Barboza and Kamwela Kerr. How much have you taken from them 2 losses that you feel like you can implement to your game?
I feel like the Edson fight you can't really count, because Edson's Edson, innit? You'll beat most of the heavyweights in there, but in terms of the Kamwela Kerr fight, I feel like he just got. I think Makwan fought well in that fight, and that was a very close fight. I just see holes. And I feel like if you don't let him fight a slow fight, which he wants to fight a slow fight, and you just push him, then you can really tire him out.
Are you giving me a little bit of your game plan without giving me a little bit of your game plan, which is just is pressure?
That's just how I fight. That's not
you do. Yeah.
That's just how I fight. So everyone, he knows what he's gonna get. Everyone else knows what they're gonna get. I'm gonna try to put it on him in it. So simple as that.
Edson got a ranking off beating Makwan Amirkhani. Can Lerone Murphy get a ranking off beating Makwan Amirkhani?
Of course, it's just got to be a good performance in it, good clean performance, and put the division on standby and people to people to look at me and say, yeah, he's ready for the top 15. And I feel like I win here. How can people deny me? I fought the Zabara, I fought Ricardo Ramos, I fought Douglas Silva and Jourdain, now Makwan, 4 of the best featherweights in the division. Like, who can deny me after that?
Do you know what that is as well, mate? That's a very tough first 4 fights in the UFC.
Of course it is. Yeah. Of course it is. They've never offered me anybody that's not tough. I've been given all the hard fights.
Yeah, that's a baptism of fire when you put it like that. That's a baptism of fire if I've ever heard of one. Yeah.
Always.
I want to talk a little bit about just taking the subject away from fighting. Have you been on FIFA? What game mode do you play when you're on FIFA?
I'm on Ultimate Team now. Trying to build my team up so I can beat my mate. My mate spent about 50, 60 quid on his team, so he's got all the people, but I'm not looking to spend that. I'm just gonna build it up.
Takes away from it, doesn't it, when people pay money for it? It's like, it's like, yeah.
But I'm better than them anyway, so it's all, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. I make up for it.
Why don't you challenge them on online seasons or something like that and say we've got to go the same team, and then it's
it's easy. No, it's too easy that way.
Too easy that
way. It's too easy.
Too easy. Well, listen, let's turn the conversation back to the fight at hand. And when we first spoke, there was no fight on the horizon, so I couldn't ask this. But give me a prediction, Lerone. What happens at the end of the month when you're in there with Amirkhani?
First or third?
First or third?
First or third. First or second, I'm going to go. First or second.
What does that depend on?
I feel like he's going to come out fast and just hold me anyway. So it's going to be hard to stop someone when they're just holding on you. And I feel like he's going to give all he's got in the first round, and then I'll bury him in the second.
Perfect, mate. Well, listen, it's very good to see you back. I was very disappointed that the last fight never came off, as you know, but very happy to see you back in action, and can't wait to see you at the end of the month.
Respect, bro. Respect.
Before we finish, how can people find you on social media?
At LPrezi145, so it's LPRESI 145.
Can I ask you about that? Because I'll always look on Instagram and think, I'll send Lerone a message, I need to try and get him back on. And I'll type in Lerone Murphy on the message bar, and nothing comes up. And then I go, El Pressy. That's his.
I know.
What's El Pressy?
It's just a name I've had on Instagram from before, from years ago. But it's just I need to change that. Actually, I'm gonna change. Obviously, I've got a private account for just like family, and that's Lerone Murphy. But I'm gonna change. Try change it to Lerone Murphy MMA or something or whatever. But I think you lose the blue tick when you do that. But I think you can regain it anyway.
Oh, do you? I never even knew that happened, to be honest. So if you change your name on Instagram, you'll lose the tick.
Yeah. Supposedly that's what they said anyway. Yeah.
Oh well, you learn something new every day, and you've just taught me something there around. But unfortunately, I don't have a blue tick, so I don't have a celebrity like you.
Soon come, bro. Soon come.
One day, mate. And before we finish, I give this opportunity to everyone. Anything you want to say, sign off with, sponsors you want to shout out, the floor is yours.
For me, I just want to shout out the gym, Manchester Top Team, sponsors, Boohoo Man, Access CVD, all the people, Armour Store, all the people that have been helping in the camp, all my training partners. Declan Fish has been a big help. Ibrahim's been a big help, Lofty. I'd also want to say, tune in October 30th to see me back in there, giving out some smoke.
Best way to end. Thanks for your time again, mate.
All right, thank you.